on? All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening, our S.O.A.R board meeting on September 18th. I am Tiana and I will be hosting this evening. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to get myself situated here so I can share my screen with the agenda. Okay. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. All right, everyone. So welcome back to another S.O.A.R board meeting. And I believe everyone's in attendance. We were waiting on Leon. Naomi she's working, so she will not be joining the call today. So we can get started. Do you have anyone to motion to open the call?
I motion to open the call.
Thank you.
Second, JR.
Thank you, JR, for your second. Thank you, Andre, for your first. All right, so would anyone like to lead us in prayer this evening?
I don't mind. I'll lead in prayer.
Thank you.
Father God, we just come to you today saying thank you. We appreciate all the wonderful blessings that you have given us and continue to give us. We thank you for giving us another opportunity to fulfill your purpose. We thank you for the additional opportunity that's going to come, not only for S.O.A.R, but each of us as individuals, as a family. I thank you for the family aspect that we build, even though we're a board of directors that has a nonprofit mission to help these youth get more educated in diverse things. You've created a family bond that can't be broken, a family bond that is going to be together for quite some time. And I just thank you for that. So as we go forth in this meeting, Lord, let us be expeditious, let us be studious, and let us be direct in making our decisions on what we need to do going forward, as far as financing, as far as grants, as far as events, as far as anything that pertains to S.O.A.R being bigger than just an idea in one state to being global. And so, Father, I just thank you because we give our plans to you. The word says that we give our plans to you and you will bless it. Not us make the plans and then do the work, because work without, faith without works is dead. We still got to do the work, but Lord, we just want you to bless it because we turn our plans over to you. This is for your glory and for your purpose. It's not for us any glory or anything extra for us as individuals. We only do it for you to fulfill that purpose. So God, just bless this meeting. Let us get through it. Let us get what we need to get accomplished and be prepared for all the great things that are ahead. It's in your powerful son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Andre, for that prayer. As we move on, we're gonna review and approve last meeting's minutes from August 28th. Wow, that was the last time we met? Okay. Did anyone have a chance to review the minutes from that meeting and would like to?
I reviewed those minutes. I approve.
Yes, I did.
I did as well.
All right, so one person to approve. I think Andre's first approval of the minutes, and then Rosie, is that your second to approval of the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
Sorry, Kiana, this is my first meeting in like a month and a half. So I feel like I'm just giddy and just like, yes, let's go. It's because I haven't been on here in a while.
He's excited.
No problem.
Excited to be back.
And we're glad to have you, Andre. We know you've been around the world.
I am happy to be here.
Right.
Me and my dear brother Noom said, I'm here.
That's two different movies, bro.
That's the movie that popped up in my head though when I
Oh
think
my
about him meeting him at the
gosh.
airport. Oh,
No,
it's
but
my
I was
brother.
talking about
Say, remember?
yes.
Coming to America.
Yeah, but that's both his movies, but there's two different ones.
Oh, two
Yeah,
different.
mine was Golden Child. Same
Golden Child.
actor. Same
Right.
actor,
Oh,
two movies.
Different movies.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to celebratory announcements. So congratulations to S.O.A.R for a successful Rock the Block events. Yes, yes. Woo. Andre, you can chime in with your
Beer, beer,
horn.
beer, beer, beer. You knew it was coming.
Yes, it was quite successful. I felt like we didn't have the attendance like we normally do, likely because of the rain, but I still had a great time. You know, I always love being a part of it, and was glad I was able to, because it was kind of last minute. I was not going to be there, and then plans changed. So
I actually think that considering, like you said, the rain, I thought we had a really good turnout. But it came in waves, you know what I mean? So like
mm,
after that big rain happened, a lot of people started to kind of make their exit. But prior to that, people started coming. Like it started to, you know what I'm saying? Like the numbers
yeah,
started to increase. And yeah, so I think that and everybody I've talked to has pretty much said the same thing. Like, y'all had a really good turnout, and in droves, and they came, or rather in uh at different times they came and went. So had everybody stayed, I think it would have been a really nice, you kind of would have seen the outcome a little bit better.
yeah, that's probably what it was. Because I was like, man, where's everybody? But yeah, they would just kind of come in spurts.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any thoughts on the Rock the Block that they want to share? Any?
I think we're going to talk about that a little
Oh,
bit
later.
further down. Hey,
Oh.
hey, don't you do that.
Um,
Sorry.
so we'll get into the Rock the Block event later, but okay, so today I'm hosting the call for September 18th, and then October 2nd, we're having the virtual business and entrepreneurship meet and greet. And then the following board meeting will take place on October 9th, where our Mr. J.R. Dawkins will be the host for that meeting. That's the meeting I won't be in attendance for. That's Nico's birthday. So, and then so on and so forth with Chastity, followed by Latoya, followed by Andre, and then Rosie, and then Leon and Rosie in December. So new business, we have discussion of, well, I'll just read what's in red, right, Rosie? You don't want me to go into anything. Do you want me to talk about?
Yeah, so no,
Okay.
so whatever's right.
Okay, so discussion meeting with Urban One.
Yeah, I'd like for JR to kind of elaborate a little bit more, because he understands the tech lingo and a lot of the some of the I guess terms and different ideas that were put out there. I understood it, but I think he kind of articulated it better. So I'll explain my experience and my thoughts for it, but if JR, if you can kind of just open up with it, and then I'll chime in.
Okay. So the meeting with Brandon from Urban One, it was a good meeting. I guess it was good to have the introduction and have an initial connect. What I was saying in the text chain was speaking towards, I guess, what and how they deal with generating their sales at most media companies. So like, like the reach out was, just saying that they wanted to connect and talk. They like what we're doing. And he did open up with saying that, like maybe they could help with working on a grant where they would add us into. And what that would mean is like they would apply for a grant and kind of list S.O.A.R as the recipient. And he said they would be listed, Urban One would be listed as the marketing partner, right? So that's one way in which they would be able to generate money, right? It's kind of like a secondary way. Like, so Urban One will automatically be the marketing arm for that grant. And then the other way with outreach, his suggestion was, they could connect us with a celebrity or influencer, like a Ricky Smiley type of personality, or Ricky Smiley himself or someone similar, to do outreach. And he was like, that comes at a cost because they get paid to do their promotions. And he was like, if you guys had the money yourselves, then that's one way. And he was like, otherwise we'll be going through something like getting a grant and funding and things like that. So long story short, like, his job is to get people to buy commercials or to sponsor things for Urban One. So I just keeping that in mind, like, his priority is going to be that. While he mentioned certain things that they might help with, like talking to the grant writer that he said they have, to see, about any available grants that we'll qualify for. He also kind of mentioned, like, oh, maybe we could get you on air, you can get Rosie on air, like on an interview. Maybe we could get you guys mentioned doing one of the Philly, they have a weekly business kind of segment. I was saying that
Black Business Week.
Yeah, Black Business Week. He's sales, so he could suggest us to that other arm, to whatever producers are there, but it might not necessarily mean that they don't already have someone else, or like we don't know where we would fall when, right? They might have a list that they're working off already, or businesses that they're currently promoting. I don't know how it works specifically there, but typically it's like, yeah, if I'm at Yahoo, I could recommend things to the production team, but it doesn't mean they're going to take it in a timely manner. But that's just kind of my feedback, just being aware that he is sales. So primarily he's trying to see if there's a way to generate sales here, but and help us in the same time. Like, it did seem genuine. It didn't seem like it was just a straight up, do y'all got money? Like, it did seem genuine, like, like, hey, we could potentially help with exposure, and working something through a grant to help with the funding, via their grant writer. Yeah, I think it's my summary synopsis.
Right. And so he like JR mentioned, he talked a lot about the grants, that we could be written into, and then they could be like our marketing arm for it. And then he mentioned that, we definitely want to kind of connect more with the Philadelphia area, and maybe, getting a little bit more involved there, because they have their presence or their ownership. Like, they have certain markets or certain areas that they kind of, not want to say dominate, but that they are like, the primary media presence in those particular cities and states. He said they don't really have a heavy presence, or like a, what is it, like they don't really operate heavily in like the northern parts, like New Jersey, New York, but they kind of own the airways, if you will, the black airways, media airways in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, whatever, and then so on, going like further south and stuff. So, something for us to consider as we continue to expand. He was very interested in learning more about us. We told him, our goals and our mission, our intent to expand out, not necessarily in just the virtual realm, but also in person, and really being able to tap into that. JR explained to him about, our initial intent to open up a charter school. And, with COVID happening, we had to kind of segue and kind of rethink our strategy, or re-strategize, or what have you, to figure out another way for us to scale. And that that they're in lies, how the business and entrepreneurship came about. He also asked about our three, what did he call it? Like our three largest issues, I guess, or major issues, what that we experience as an organization. I mentioned outreach. Dre mentioned funding. JR piggybacked and mentioned funding again, and scaling, right? So scaling our organization, trying to get more, participation with instructors, subject matter experts in their fields, who could help and be more present in terms of like our in-person vision, what we envision for the in-person portion of it in the classes that we'll be teaching. So he was very important at certain points. He had interjected and was just like, wait a second. Like, this is just amazing. Like, and I don't know if he was doing it to try to soup us up because, again, he's a salesperson, right? So at the end of the day, he's thinking about the bottom line. But he, like JR said, he did seem very genuine. He did seem very interested. And at some point I felt like there was a vested interest, in ensuring that we, we're able to like he said, he's trying to problem solve, trying to figure out a way where he can help us solve the issues that we presented to him. But as I mentioned, even in our in the group text, and then I was talking to Leon, I did some research, some background research on him. And then all of the colleagues that he had or that his assistant had listed in the email chain. I looked all of them up. I followed them on LinkedIn like almost immediately so I could kind of see more of their profile. And so I saw that a lot of their backgrounds were in marketing, sales, promotion, stuff like that. So I kind of just gathered that it was that was likely going to be the angle that they were going to come from. But he wasn't aggressive with it. He wasn't, overbearing with it. And really, it did just seem like, we could, if you had the money, dope. If you don't have the money, we would love to get you in these grants. And he even emphasized the fact that if we could get you in these grants, that would be even better. So I liked how he, focused more on how they could help, as opposed to just saying, oh, yeah, I ain't got the money. Okay, well, you know what? Have your people call my people and, we'll go from there. So, yeah. So Dre, I know Dre was on, he was in and out, but, do you have any, anything you want to add to that?
The one thing I did feel that he was genuine in his approach. It's like when we got on there, I knew he was going to try to sell us. Because Radio One is here in Dallas, and so they're about marketing and advertising, but they're also about the community as well. So I did appreciate the fact that he was very genuine and very direct, and offered solutions that didn't just necessarily automatically take money out of our pocket to pay to progress forward. So, other than that, I think it went well. I caught the beginning and some of the middle and some of the end. So, yeah. Rosie and JR summed it up well.
Yeah, I think right now it's just a matter of, wait and see what happens. He did mention if we didn't hear back from him in about a month, to definitely reach back out. So, that open door, I like that approach as well. And I did follow up with a thank you email. I think it's appropriate to do that with whoever we meet with, just to show that there is an interest there, even on our part, and, a level of appreciation, even if nothing comes of it. Because you never know when they'll turn around and remember us. So, yeah, but if nothing else for now anyway, I think, it's definitely good to, to have had that exposure for them to know who we are, to know that he did his research. He was on our website. He said, he was like, I researched y'all. I looked y'all up. I was looking at some of the stuff y'all was doing and I was just like blown away, so that speaks volumes. And then, so he started out, well, not started, like kind of close to the beginning of after the introductions and all that. He was like, so I'm just curious, like, how did y'all hear? Like, how did we get wind of you guys? How do we? And I was like, me and JR said, they're like, yeah, that's the question we have for you. Like, how did you hear about us? And, like, that's, I don't want to say random, but like, wow. So he did mention how the young lady, which Leon told me, they have people in these departments, for these companies that pay big money for, it's called SEO. I forgot what the acronym stands for, JR, you probably remember, but where
Search engine optimization.
yes, there you go. Search engine optimization. To where, they pay big money for certain to be like in a certain algorithm, or for, certain algorithms to trigger their attention. And so when certain information pops up and certain information that we put out there, they get wind of it, right? And it's based on, a bunch of different data, but basically that, if it's something that's of interest to them, they put all this information in or whatever, they pay the big bucks, and this is what, this is the output basically for them. And then they get to decide whether or not they want to proceed, with pursuing us, if you will. And so that's kind of how that happened with her. Is my assumption, seeing that he didn't, he was kind of like, yeah, like, man, how do we find you? And after she did her research and she brought, us back to his table, and was like, you need to look into this. That's when he did his research, and he was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I want to meet with them. So all in all, great meeting. Y'all know me, like at this point in the juncture, I've learned the hard way not to get overly excited about, what could be. Obviously I've gotten let down, we've gotten let down, enough times to know that we know God is able, but I'm putting it in God's hands at this point. I'm not gonna, ponder on it. I'm not gonna, I just, I've learned. And so I'm excited, but I'm just gonna let God do what God does. Anyway, that's my spill.
Yeah. I would imagine that it's not, he's not the only type of business like that. And so, if he's was able to find us, and then there'll be others, and it's like, how do you decipher between what's, a reputable company, you know what I mean? To work with, and who's not.
Right.
So,
and mind you, we've had a heavier presence. Donna has been, I've asked her, I've kind of been pushing, to her, although she's done a phenomenal job on her own, but even with that, like following more people, and I think we talked about that the last time, you know what I'm saying? Following more groups, following more like-minded organizations. And so it could very well have been, maybe they saw us on another page, or, because, tagging different ones and hashtagging and all that stuff, whatever. All of that, we're kind of learning as we go that, that makes a big difference. And then JR mentioned a lot of that, in the very beginning, certain, things that we need to be mindful of when we are marketing, when we're promoting, to make sure that we have, the greater possibility of having the larger audiences follow us, or what have you, so, we're learning. We're doing it, this is organic. Like, we're not paying millions of dollars. Like, we're all we just a little video us doing it. So, but I see that there's, we're getting more traction now. So
yeah, that's great. Well, we'll see where that leads us. But he said that if we don't hear from him, or if within a month, that to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would just figure that they would reach out. But
yes and no, but this is Urban One we talk about, girl. Like, we ain't talking about no, mom and pops
That's
TV station down the road.
that's kind of
okay.
why I was saying, like, his main job is sales. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
right.
while,
There you go.
while he mentioned the possibility of a grant and
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that, I don't know how high of a priority that is. Like, my guess would be, if nothing is coming through, then they'll probably go to grant route to try to, explore that other channel. Because it's true, if they get a grant, that's another form of them getting paid. But it's, as we know, grants is, it's work to get it done and together and right, and then you gotta wait. So
Right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I said it's funny because when he said it, I'm thinking in my mind when he's like, yeah, so listen, if you don't hear back, I'm thinking, oh, he's talking about like within a week or so. He said a month. I was like, okay, let me just let's keep moving. I mean, the bug is in the ear. We've whet the appetite, I guess, for lack of better terminology. He's gotten to know more about us. He's a very cool guy too, very down to earth, young, seems, about our age. Well, I'm young, but one of our ages. He's within our age group. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
let's say, Rosie, like for 2024, maybe even like having this connection. I know he's sales, but there might be, specific thing where we might want or feel that it lends well to news coverage or just some kind of coverage, like a write-up, something, right? It'll be good to say like, hey, this is happening this date, so on and so forth. Possibly, but then also like whatever our thoughts are for Philadelphia, that definitely will be time to circle back to, like if we're activating or connecting with any organizations in that area.
Right. Yeah, and that'll be my research. I have to research some of that. I know you mentioned something about a, a some, I don't know what you were talking about, but something about numbers, providing him with some numbers or something like that for 2024. What did you put it? What'd you say?
Oh, I think I should have
Yeah.
saying breaking down our 2024 costs to, like,
Yeah, cost punch list of activations. I was like, what?
all
Cost
right,
punch list.
it's a media term punch list. Just
Yeah.
a list, just broken down.
Of what though? Like of things that we have going on, because that's why I sent him the infographics. But
The costs are like what we are targeting to
the
raise
budget.
each thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have we do have an overall budget. We also have specific budgets for like each of the programs. So we could do something like that. We also have a separate budget for like the college tours. We don't necessarily have a budget for like what you call it, the like all the networking event, like the Rock the Block. We don't have a specific budget for that. We don't have a budget for the VNEs because those are just more community based. But
I think the big things in my mind is the HBCU tour,
yeah.
cost for that, Rock the Block gala.
Hmm.
I feel like there was a fourth that I had in my head.
Not the courses, the program.
Well, off the top, I didn't necessarily had a budget for that since it's virtual, but
No, we absolutely do have a budget for it too.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so like those would be I guess the main four things. It's like draft, so that way when we present, it's like, yes, there's a top number, but hey, you could help if you want to help out with one thing, you could take
Right.
this, right? Like you could take the
Yeah.
college tour, or you could take the gala, or so that
Right.
way people just visualize it, they see it in more bite-sized chunks.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we definitely can consider that for the new year.
Okay. I guess moving on then, if there's nothing else, next is our to discuss the date change for from 12/22 to 12/23 for Christmas with S.O.A.R. End of year event. So
Yeah.
we're changing it.
So okay. Yeah. So you just said that, and Auntie Rose just called me and left me a message. So yes, we are a go for the 23rd. As long as if everybody else is or whoever can make it. If you guys are okay with the 23rd, we're gonna go with the 23rd for our final end of year celebration, community celebration with the Christmas with S.O.A.R. And we've Auntie Rose and I were talking earlier because Mount Olive was the community service, so the community arm was looking to do something to close out the year as well in the community, like giving back or whatever. So She and I, talked it over and kind of devised a plan. She took it back to Bishop and Pastor, and they agreed to go with that recommendation. And so we are good for the 23rd. So I'm going to go tomorrow, pick up the application, fill it out, and then we'll be good for the 23rd of December.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I sent out the message, earlier, just to see if anybody had any oppositions or if anybody would, will not be here or what have you. Just so that we kind of forecast out what, who we are going to have to help out. It is Saturday, which kind of makes it a little bit better. I also suggested doing earlier times, so like a 10 to 2 or 12 to 4. So we need to figure that out as well, or discuss that, so that tomorrow when I fill out the application, I can put that time down.
Yeah. I'm good with 12 to 4. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a little
Anybody
sleep.
else?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
That works for
Okay.
me.
Okay. They are. I know, Dre, you won't be you won't be able to make it because you'll be coming to the gala. So don't anticipate. I mean, listen, you can come to all of them, but it's not expected. So, but
No problem.
Chastity.
I'm gonna let God work out that. I'm gonna let God work it out.
Chaz, you good with
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I know we got Mel's birthday and some other stuff happening around that time. So that's why I was trying to make it early. I don't want to take up anybody, too much of anybody's day. I figured 10 to 2, 12 to 4. I'm okay with either. I just need to solidify that by tomorrow when I fill out the application. JR, are you good with that? I want to have it on record.
Yeah, 20 good. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Alright.
So there you go. Thanks, T.
Okay. So just to put things to wrap it up, we're definitely going to do December 23rd for Christmas with S.O.A.R, end of year event, and the time frame being 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Awesome. All right, next up for discussion, we'll be discussing the meeting with EBC for grant workshop opportunity on September 30th from 1 to 3 p.m.
Dre, do you mind covering this part? And then I'll chime in. Andre, are you there?
Sorry about that. How about I take myself off mute?
I was gonna say try to be on mute, but I'm gonna try again.
All right, so Rock the Block. It was an incredible event. Especially when the community came together.
No, not the Rock the
Wait,
Block.
pause.
I thought that's what she just told me to do.
No, sir.
EBC.
We're in discussion of the meeting with
Lord have
EBC
mercy.
for a grant.
My apologies. I promise I heard you say Rock the Block. My bad. I think I'm just excited.
Yeah, that was about 10 minutes ago, but yeah.
Those burgers are fire, though.
Like I said, I'm just excited. Forgive me. Firing on all cylinders right now. So for the EBC grant, Kevin, they've decided at the EBC this year that they're going to do a live, in-person type of walkthrough for the EBC grant. We are now eligible to get up to 10,000 with the grant because of what we've already shown, the work that we've already put in, and everything that we've met all the specifications that they've had for the EBC grant. On September 30th, they're going to have an in-person meeting from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in New York. So I know I myself won't be able to attend, and Rosie already has 3 events that day. And so, and I asked Kevin several times, it's like, no, there's not going to be a virtual option. I think it would be in good taste if we show up. It is not required, but Kevin did say if we do show up, to bring our application with us so they can, overlook it, fill in any other little gaps that we may need to cover as far as that grant is concerned. He missed this recent Rock the Block. That's probably why I was thinking about it. Rock the Block, because the weather where he was got worse than where it was where we were. so he didn't get a chance to make it out, but he did give us a lot of kudos via text message on what we were doing. And so I wanted to put it out to the board members because I know, again, I'm in Texas and Rosie's got, 3 things going that same day. If any of the board members could sit in on that day, September 30th, it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Unfortunately, that's a birthday celebration for my family. Yvonne's birthday is the 30th.
All right, so Tiana will not be able to attend. Chastity, are you available? You're actually in New York. All right, am I the only one that can't hear Chastity?
No,
I was
Chastity.
going to unmute and I wasn't even muted.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I was like, am I the only one that can't hear her? I see that she's supposed to be talking.
Jazz, are you on mute again? What is up
Not
with y'all
on
in this mute business?
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Oh Lord. Okay. Chaz, would you be able to step in? I don't know if anybody else, Toya, JR might be able to as well, but I know you're in the city, well, closest to that part. That's actually at the it's going to be at the Emmanuel Baptist Church in Brooklyn. The church that this girl goes to, Chevelle. So I don't know if you're familiar with it. I heard it's a pretty popular church, but I don't know how much you know of it.
No,
But
I'm not familiar with it. But I don't know.
okay. All
So,
right.
yeah, some of the topics that we'll be discussing, so we guys will know the eligibility required for the grant, and I'll forward the flyer to you guys. Key points of information and documentation needed for the application, and what are the potential award denominations for the grants. So they'll be going over those and discussing those at that EBC grant workshop.
So you're saying someone has to be present there to submit our application for the grant?
Yes, so they can review, and if we're missing anything, they can send it back with us so we can add the additional information.
Okay. In Brooklyn.
So the grant is already pretty much done. Dre, if it's the same format and everything is the same from last year, it's essentially in the draft state right now. We didn't want to move forward though until we knew for sure that it is in fact the same grant or application process. So if I'm understanding it correctly, huh?
Gonna say so far the only thing Kevin responded with me is with that.
Okay. All right. So maybe I'll just, I'll shoot an email to him then. That way you don't feel like, one thinking you like, what is going on with this dude? I'll send an email so it's coming from a different angle. Just to, kind of clarify what the application, if that's the application, can we proceed with filling it out? Because I don't want to get through that whole process and then they have a whole new, what I'm saying, set of steps that we have to follow. But yeah, like if somebody could, I know it's a pretty, it's in Brooklyn, so that in and of itself is, for the New Jersey folks anyway. And maybe even for Chastity, because I'm not sure how far it is, from your house to there, but you're not sure. So if any, obviously right now we're down to Toya, JR. Leon is going to be with me, unless he decides, we kind of divide and conquer. I have a graduation that day, and I have to take Lanaya down to South Jersey for a birthday gathering. So I'm not even going to be anywhere in the close proximity for me to be able to get there. Otherwise, I would do it myself. So this is, it's not something we do all the time. It's not something that, but it is it is a sacrifice, I guess you would say, for for each, we looking at each angle, from either Long Island or from Jersey side, it's going to be a nice little uh trek. It's for the greater cause, like, this is to help us. Okay, so Toya says
All
they
right,
have
so
some.
just got a quick update. Kevin said if we're unable to meet on September 30th, he still wants someone to come, though. He said we can't submit the application early and then they give us feedback. So, Rosie, if you want to go ahead and send that email.
Okay, so it's the same application.
Same application, correct.
Okay,
And then
okay.
we can get feedback before the 30th. But he said he really wants us to come because this is the
Yes.
first time they've done it in person.
Yes, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I know Toya just put in the chat that they're holding something we were holding for that. Oh, something they're holding for that date. So,
And he's willing to, we have the ability to get up to 10 grand. So
yeah.
if any of my people are in that area, they could go. That'd be awesome. Send
Yeah.
Lanaya, tell her, take a record.
Chastity, what do you have plans for that day? Or when you say you don't know, are you saying it because you have, like, do you have anything that you have going on that day during that time? I was trying to figure out, just kind of drawing at straws here.
Yeah, no, I need to look on the calendar. I don't have anything here on my phone, but I don't want to say yes and then have to renege and say, oh, I had this going on or that going on.
Right.
I'm trying to be very careful.
With saying yes
Yes.
on a whim. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I tend to. So I'm just trying to be more careful. Let me just look and see and make sure, because Mel has Saturday school now and she has dance on Saturday, but that's new. That's new stuff that just started. So
okay. It's too much stuff. All right. So if you can, I guess, just let us know. Like, I'm gonna talk to Leon and see if, see what he can do. I may have to, because we were gonna do, I do him do one and me do the other. And then, just again to divide and conquer, eat one first. So, if it's at all possible, again, it's 2 hours, so, but I don't want to impede on anybody's time. But for something like this, I'm kind of like, if somebody could go. Again, if I hadn't already RSVP'd or hadn't already said I was coming, I would absolutely, just be like, look guys, I gotta take care of this, but I did. So I'll talk to Leon as well, but I guess, Chas, if you could let me know for sure if that's something that you can pull off, and then, maybe we can talk offline to figure it out. We have a little bit of time. It's not to the end of the month, but y'all know how that goes. And that's right now we're at the 18th already. So
I was gonna say that's next Saturday.
Right.
next, yeah, according to JR's next Saturday. Yes, it's next Saturday. But
You mean, Jay? It's everyone's next Saturday.
We have 2 Saturdays to go. Let's just put it that way. Okay, we have this one, and then next Saturday. So, all right, that's that. So if we can circle back around. Is that good, Chas? Can we just put that out there to just circle back around with that?
sure.
Okay.
All right. So upcoming past events and reflections. 3rd annual Rock the Block. Wait, Rock the Block. Okay. All right. I'm taking it as R&B. Rock the Block. Another successful event for the books. So this is our time for thoughts, reflections, and looking ahead for next year.
Go, Dre.
Yeah, this is your moment, Dre. We're talking
moment,
about
Dre.
Rock the Block was absolutely fantastic. We had opportunities from all over. We had exercise portions. We had giveaways. We probably gave but on a serious note, I think we gave away the most stuff at any Rock the Block.
Yeah.
With the amount of people that we had this one, because I remember, for y'all that didn't know, Rosie, Leon, myself, and just us 3. Yeah, we unloaded the
They
truck
are.
and go to the
They are
storage.
help pick it up.
And we just had so much stuff. Rose was like, I really don't want to bring this stuff back. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's just hope everybody, takes it. And we put that stuff out there, and I was like, wow. Even with the it seemed like a smaller group of people. Even the people that came, it didn't seem like they took a whole lot of stuff either. It wasn't like they were greedy and one person took like 20 items, but they really took those gifts. People participated in the exercise portion, and then the heartfelt and heartwarming, moment of all the the dedications for the family members and the neighbors on the block, that passed away, or uh, the sad Clarice, the declarations, probably was actually my favorite part, because we never did that in the hood. We never did those kind of things growing up, where we actually recognize somebody, or a youth or middle age, and get recognized by the entire neighborhood, and everybody comes out, and the mayor comes out, and it becomes a true family celebration. So this is probably by far, despite the rain, this was the best Rock the Block. Like, we continue to get better. I'm like, there's no way we can beat last year, and we did. And even the last minute tent, most event companies do not allow that. Many of y'all probably don't know that.
Right.
He showed up with one tent, and I walked into the house and said, Rosie, he has one tent. Did we only order one tent? Last year we had two. Rosie was like, yeah. So I went and talked to the guy. Funny, just come off Costa Rica. They speak Spanish, so it was a great conversation. And I just told him in Spanish, I said, are we able to get another tent? He said, we'll call the office. I said, oh, okay, my name's not on there. Rosie, can you call the office? And boom, we got another tent. And when I say that was God in the place, because it rained, everybody wouldn't have been able to fit under the one tent that we had, right? We wouldn't still be able to do the exercise portions, and we still wouldn't have been able to, continue with the event, because we wouldn't have had the space. So, it was like, it was one of those moments where you just see God show up, right? Because it was like, well, I know I'm gonna send y'all some rain. It's not gonna be as bad, but I'm gonna send y'all some rain. You probably won't get that other tent. Let me make this happen for you. And then just the love that was there, man. I was so pumped. That's why I got into the exercise thing, because I was pumped. Almost burned a whole set of burgers and hot dogs trying to work out. So, but I think Rock the Block was a complete success.
Yeah, I agree. That workout session was a hit.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, she's got to come back next year. We got to get something similar.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta have her
Both
back.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were both phenomenal. And that dance off.
That was the highlight of the whole day, dog.
Dance
Yeah,
off the rope.
Yeah, you gotta put that little girl.
Right.
Whose daughter was that? Got put on
Right.
ID.
Oh man, they was loving it. And I love the fact that the kids, like, they was out there playing in the rain. Like, they didn't care. And yeah. But sorry, T, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I mean, this is time for thoughts and reflections if anybody has.
I don't know what Dre put on those burgers, but they were real good. No, it was a lot of fun, and it was just good to have the community there and everything. And I feel like it was also good to like have good amount of the S.O.A.R students there that were able to make it. So that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, we have a lot more of our scholars this year come out from New York, from yeah. So I agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice to see them. Yeah, good times always. I enjoy being around you all as usual. So that alone was the icing on the cake. So
I agree. And I also, I love the declarations or proclamations rather. Um, obviously saw it necessary, especially with, how traumatic things have been over the past year on just our block. You know what I'm saying? And so it just for me, it literally, it was necessary, and I felt like it brought a little bit of healing, to some of the families. Um, and so, yeah, I love that part of it. The burgers, JR is raving about these burgers. I barely got to eat it because Tiana will tell you I was into it. I tried to give my son a bite. He knocked it on the ground. And I
Yeah.
didn't have the energy anymore. I was just like, forget it. Because when you doing so much or whatever, you don't really get to like enjoy it the way that everybody else does. Uh, but I know that everybody was loving the food, loving the company. I think, like I said, people were coming in waves. A lot of people, who said they were coming, the rain held them back, and they last minute was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. We had vendors. I mean, we had a vendor who registered the same morning and then texted me, was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. That was the face painter.
Mm.
So I was I was a little upset about that, but it is what it is. You move on. And I think that was the most important part. And I was talking to our our councilman, and even Denise Wilkerson, and she was just like, you guys went forth, like, regardless of the weather and whatever, you guys made it happen. That resiliency. You know what I'm saying? It was so evident that day. And I really do think that, sometimes we take things for granted. We just like, well, we know God's gonna come through and he ain't gonna let that rain touch us. And even at one point it was looking promising. Like I showed Dre, I was like, look, the rain is not supposed to come back again until 6. Man, I feel like a half hour later, it was, oh my gosh, it was like a monsoon. But like he said, we called, we asked for the other tent. I do believe we only had the one tent though. It might have been a little bit larger, but I think we only had the one tent last year. I don't know. I can't recall, but and something told me to, it was probably the Lord and I ignored it, but like to get a second tent. And I was like, no, I think it's good. I think it's good. And as soon as they started setting up and Dre came, he was like, yeah, that's not going to work. We did what we had to do. And it ended up being what it was in terms of just everybody, huddled under the tent, everybody, we brought the food under the tent. So we moved, you know, what I'm saying? We just moved when, when it was time to move, we moved, when I move, you move, just like that. Like there was no hesitation. Everybody was kind of in that, not survival, but we're gonna do what we gotta do. Like, okay, all right, it's about to rain, what we gonna do? Get these tents up, let's put these boxes up under here. All right, let's get this food, let's put it up under the commercial tents. All right, what we got now? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, even down to our scholars who were helping out, Naomi and Kayla coming on, and they and Bonnie, like, yo, they really just came and just was like, okay, what's next? What do we do? What do we, all right, let's get this table together. Like, no, I don't think it should look like this. Like they were on it with this flag table and stuff. And just to see everybody working together. Sometimes it's not about the numbers. You know what I'm saying? It really is about the impact. And sometimes it happens with the small numbers, and hence the reason why I feel like we even, why we piqued the interest of Urban One. They saw something we were doing. You know what I'm saying? It don't always necessarily have to be in the, the grand numbers, but the fact that we still moved forward, it speaks volumes. Um, and I think people were kind of like, wow, y'all still did it, and y'all had a great turnout, and it was fun and blah blah.
Mhm.
I was talking to Rose earlier today, and she was like, I'm not missing another one of y'all events because, oh my goodness, I had such a great time. Like she said, we was adamant we were not, not gonna make it. We said we was going and we was coming. And she said the more that they got ready and stuff, the more it poured down raining. And so, but God has a way of testing our resilience, and testing how much we really will put out, our hope and everything in him. And so I think that was just another feather in our cap, humbly, always remaining humble, but I think it was another feather in our cap of what together, what we can do as a unit, and what we have the capacity, and the bandwidth to pull off when we work together. And I love, Dre's prayer earlier, just talking about, how we have this familial bond that cannot be broken. And it's so evident, it's so evident that it resonates in everybody we come in contact with. It's so evident that when we went to Jamaica, our scholars ended up turning into family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that evident. And then now they come back and they're like BFFs. You know what I'm saying? Talking every single day. I get it every day. I get the messages, that they all on these chats and they all talking and we go to birthday parties together. Like, yes. So anyway, I concur with Dre. I definitely think this was the best one. It was great to have the young ladies, and just so happens that her schedule is always booked. She just so happened to not have anything on her schedule for that particular Saturday. And she was like, it's so funny. I don't have anything on my schedule for that day. She was like, and it's a week before the daggone event. I reached out to her just on a whim, like, do you think you could come and like make up for not coming last year? I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. But like, actually, I don't have anything going on. And she came through, her and the other young lady, Deneen. And I love both of the sessions. I love both of them. So
yes, I've already worn my free t-shirt and hat
yeah,
to the gym. So grateful for those gifts.
Right. Yeah.
I think too, Rosie, for us, the experience being in Jamaica and just seeing how hard they worked, rain or shine.
Yes.
It was kind of like, get out here and do something.
Right.
So
yeah. And that's what I said.
that's
Like, they were all
anything.
out there playing basketball, and like it was no big deal to them. Like, they was like, this rain, come on.
Yeah.
we was in monsoons every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So good times, good times. Well, if no one else has any other thoughts or reflections, moving on to our next upcoming event this Saturday, Sisters in Business Expo. It's been confirmed and we are on the move again. So looking forward to that. Had a great time last year. And just, being able to see different things. I mean, the event was pretty packed. Hopefully, I think last year it was a little slow with guests, if I'm correct, coming in, to see it, but I'm looking forward to it anyway, to like just see, the vendors, maybe the same vendors or, some new ones and stuff like that. And just being able to talk more about S.O.A.R and, meet some new faces and make some more connections. So you want to add anything, Rosie, to?
No, I was saying it's definitely more vendor heavy last year. So hopefully, it kind of balances out this year. But I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Q3 virtual networking event coming up on 9/25 Monday. Family and parent engagement part 2. Gotta redeem last year's event. So looking forward to that. I was supposed to speak with Derry just to kind of touch on some things, but it was yesterday. It would have been yesterday, and unfortunately we got back home a little late, so I wasn't able to catch up with her. So we'll be talking during the week, about this engagement and this event, and trying to, make sure things are in place. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to some more people on the line and just being able to connect. I mean, the networking event was, I just love the content of it, and what we're presenting to parents and families, and, being of help. And Derry was phenomenal last year, and, presenting it and stuff. So I'm looking forward to working with her again, and, hopefully we'll get, better participation and things. So
We had our first registrant the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep pushing it. If you guys can push it out to your networks,
Yes.
just to kind of get a lot more eyes on it.
Will
It's
do.
happening.
Yes, yes, yes. For sure. And up next, DSU College Fall Tour, the 29th. We're moving right along. And
Yeah.
I hear we've got quite the group. Is it 20?
Yeah, we have 19 scholars so far. So yeah, we're gonna have to upgrade the vehicle. I like that van though. So I was like hoping that we stayed at least at like, what was it? I think it was a 12 passenger.
Yeah,
So,
it was perfect.
yeah, I love that. I don't like the idea of driving a big old van, but I think we're okay to still maintain the, to keep it at the van and not have to move up to like a bus because we'd be in trouble because right now we looking for funding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I mean either way it's gonna happen. I just it'd be nice to so if you guys have anybody in your networks, we'll leave JR off the hook this time. Anybody in your networks who's interested in sponsoring a kid, we have 19 of them. Our goal is only 5,000 this time. Right. So I think it's probably when I put the email out or email or message, whatever, I'll make sure I preface that with that it's $5,000 that we're looking to raise. So in essence, this has kind of become another fundraiser. So if you guys can push that out, we have the video that you guys can share with people and just say, hey, like, we're doing it again and we need your help. Like if you guys would sponsor a kid, we're looking to raise $5,000 to help cover the costs associated with this trip. And we'll probably end up, actually, we might even do good with bringing it down to like 3 if that helps. You know what I'm saying? Because even with us being able to just use the van that we got, it was like half what we would have paid for the bus because we had less kids than we anticipated. Right? Our budget was based on 25 kids, although we are close to that now, so that might change. That might change the game a little bit, but and plus the chaperones or whatever. So yeah, if you guys can push that out, that's definitely a fundraising effort that we're it's kind of like underway right now. So I'll push out something either later tonight. Trying to balance my time, just so that I'm not up, wee hours of the night and then waking up early in the morning and doing it all over again. I feel like I'm busier now without Rutgers than I've ever been in my entire life.
Facts. Welcome to life. I told you what was gonna happen, Rosie.
Oh my gosh.
I told you what was gonna happen.
Oh man. Yeah. So I'm just trying to balance things out too, what I commit, what I'm committing to and stuff like that. But anyway, so and I said that to say that, with this, as far as timing and stuff. So if I don't get it done tonight, I wanted to make sure I put that disclaimer out there. I'm trying to balance my time better. Y'all pray for me though, because y'all know I don't like stuff undone. So that's my biggest hurdle.
We got you.
Yeah. So if it don't get done tonight, I promise you it'll get done tomorrow. I have a couple of meetings tomorrow, but it'll get done tomorrow. And I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, sorry, T. Go ahead. Well, I'll put that. Well, no. So are we done? I'm sorry. Are we done with the DSU? So I'm done with that part. Again, fundraiser. So if you guys have networks, I'm gonna reach out to some of the people in my network to say, hey, like we're doing it again. What can you do, and see what happens. But I would say 3,000. I think that will more than suffice if we don't have to do the bus. The bus is the most expensive part, and then the t-shirts. But we found a vendor, local vendor, company who made the t-shirts that we had, the newer t-shirts, the blue and white t-shirts that we had made. And for all the t-shirts that we got done, it was fairly nominal price fee rather altogether. So I would say maybe closer to $3,000 because then we could still get like a, 15 passenger, and then, I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. I do know Tiana's going. If anybody is interested in attending, Tiana's my rider, man. She go everywhere with me. But if anybody else is interested in attending, definitely, feel free, let me know so I can add you to the list. I think it's a great opportunity to get to know the scholars better and more on a more personal level. Right, you get to know them on Zoom, you get to know them, but it really does make a difference when they see your face, and it's kind of outside of those realms, which is why we push for people, everybody to come on, whatever. Obviously, we know your schedules. Everybody, has other obligations and jobs and stuff like that, so it's not expected. But if you're interested and you want to come, I highly encourage you to. That first college tour was, man, it was phenomenal. It really was. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. The kids are a little rough on the edges, but it was kind of early, so it was rainy. But once they got over themselves,
Right. Yeah. As soon as we got, we had one person. I think it was just the one individual because he wasn't here this time, and they all just seemed to get along. And it was majority of them were from the college tour. I think all of them, with the exception of two, they all came. So, yeah, so, but yeah, I think it was great. So, but, what was I saying that for? The college tour, but I was, so you guys, and I'm kind of just, transitioning from that into the next bullet. The last few bullets, those are kind of all just pending. So there's nothing really to discuss. So this is kind of like the last discussion. We're going to end off with this with Toya and JR kind of giving us their updates or whatever. But I sent out a few emails to some of the high schools that we've worked with. Cardinal Hayes, Linden, Abraham Clark. If you guys have any other schools who you think might be interested in me coming and pitching who we are, please let me know. I'm trying to fill up my calendar with those visits. So, as we ramp up, or in preparation rather for the upcoming series. So I sent out 3. I'm waiting for responses. So, just FYI for that.
Okay. I know you had talked about the other events are pending, and then there's something here about discuss creating possible teams to help facilitate. So we'll pause on that, or
yeah, I think that's definitely something we can discuss for like 2024. So as we're discussing our schedule, which I think we should really hash out before the end of the year, we can talk about like the managing. And I think Dre had some good ideas and recommend or suggestions that we kind of been discussing, and he wanted to bring to the group. So I don't think we'll have time for that tonight, but definitely before the end of the year, we should have that time to discuss that. And then for the vendor, so I was told that we do have the New York DOE vendor number. Derry was telling me that we have it, but I needed to reach out, to the young lady who I had to submit our application through, who actually is a friend of Derry's. So I reached out to her today to find out what the status was on it. I haven't heard back from her. So once I do hear back, I'll let you guys know, because then that, we can start bidding for contracts and stuff like that with the DOE, the New York DOE, which is, that's going to be a game changer right there. So TBD.
wow, a lot going on. We're moving, that's for
Yeah.
sure. So are we ready to go into the final topic of the fall 2023?
Yes.
BB? Okay. So final topic of the evening is the fall 2023 Virtual Business and Entrepreneurship Youth Boot Camp Kickoff. So at this time, we'll welcome some thoughts and updates from JR and Toya regarding anything for that.
Hey, everybody. So for the fundamentals, leave everything set. Dre will be with me. Rainey's not available. So it'll be myself and Dre from the business and entrepreneurship side. Toya sent out an email to just kind of follow up with all the folks that has done it in the past. There was a little bit of I guess the only person that we heard that wasn't available right now is Rainey. She I guess booked other things, and and Patty's not available anymore either. Oh, okay. But Toy already replaced her. Rainey suggested having, I guess, more updates and sending out calendar holds for folks that are not like part of S.O.A.R.
Hey, Garrett, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I meant to ask though. Like, I know she said she's not available before the 5th of October, but what about after? Like, I thought she said that she just wasn't available for the date that we had her down for. Is there any way to move things around so that she is available?
Well, the class that she teaches happens that day.
I know, but can we move it so that like maybe adjust the schedule so that she can teach it, but just at a later time?
She
So what
said
other classes?
well, she said she's booked for this something else and she's waiting on getting that schedule back, but
Okay.
she's booked, and she suggested initially saying that we plan for 2024 because she committed to something else. And then she said the 5th she definitely can't do, but she hasn't gotten the dates for what she committed to yet. So at that point, I was just like, all right, it's fine. It was only the one class, which in the past I taught the first two anyway. And then the other instructors are there. But I could I'm gonna set up some time on her calendar to just, I guess, talk it through, because initially it was just it's emails back and forth, so I didn't want to keep kind of going into it. But her initial response was kind of like she didn't hear anything, so she figured it wasn't happening or she wasn't needed.
Mommy, I mean, Daddy,
Fall.
let's do what they do.
So yeah, that's the only thing
To wipe his hands.
that I have for it right now.
Well, she and I spoke, and I was trying not to interject because I want, I'm trying to be a little bit more hands off and let you guys handle it. And you've been doing a phenomenal job in responding, and but I also wanted to kind of be like, yo, we just literally just talked, and we met right before, right before we went to Jamaica. But even during that conversation, and we were supposed to meet when I got back, but we just haven't had a chance. We talked about the fall series, and she was like, I'm excited, I can't wait, like, let me know. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we have the dates yet, but we'll definitely let you know as soon as the dates are solidified, to make sure. But I know that Toya, that's why when she initially said it, I'm like, well, she was like, oh, you gotta send it out. Although I do agree communication needs to happen more frequent. It wasn't like Toya didn't send the schedule out when we proposed both series, like spring and fall. She usually does it together, and then it's one fell swoop. So I get it, the reminder stuff. But she and I had just literally talked right before I went off to Jamaica, and yeah. So I think it was before or even after. I think I'm trying to think if I talked to her like after we came back. I don't recall, but anyway, we talked, and we did talk about the program. So I didn't want to like jump in. I was trying my best, and I actually did a good job in not jumping in. But I'm gonna text her and try to catch her so we can have a convo and figure out what
it is team. So if you had conversations with her that we didn't have, I don't think it's inappropriate for you to jump in, unless you just mean you wanted to talk to her directly versus the group.
Yeah,
But
no, I'm gonna talk to her directly because she and I talked about it. And I was telling her, I was like, yeah, as soon as they, solidify, because I wasn't sure if, like you guys have to solidify stuff before you start sending out reminders. I know sometimes I have to, sometimes I'll ask like, okay, guys, are you gonna send, when are we sending out the schedule? Because it does tend to get close to the time before we start sending that stuff out. So I do agree with that. Like we definitely need to be a little bit more proactive in that area, and I can help out with whatever I need to. So I agree with that, but I also, in our defense, I think it was already kind of communicated that, all right, so for the spring, this is your date. For the fall, this is your date. Any questions? So if at any point that changed for her, then she should have communicated that with you guys or us or even me when we talked. And that, she never mentioned that she was going to be doing something for the Fresh Air Fund. I'm very familiar with the Fresh Air Fund. I used to be a part of that. So she never mentioned that, which is why I want to have a separate conversation with her. And I'll just, I'll keep you guys posted.
The other thing I wanted to add, sorry, the other thing that I wanted to add was about the orientation. So the orientation is on the 2nd and classes start on the 3rd. So that's the 2nd of October. Classes start on the 3rd. And then another thing I wanted to point out, you'll notice in the outline that we added Rosie's class, the resume writing, it's its own class. And so because the schedule was sent out earlier this year, I didn't want to make too many changes. So what I did was, as opposed to having the writing workshop, I put my class on a Wednesday. So I just highlighted that on the outline. So I just wanted to have that for the record, so that way when we start doing the reminders and emails, we can highlight for the scholars. Sorry, what's that? Did somebody say something?
Oh.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to add about the outline. But yeah, just to confirm, I believe everyone has responded. The only one in maybe Rosie, I couldn't remember if you said that Professor Gray confirmed with you. I know he emailed me when I sent the outline out and said he would confirm the date with me soon. So I don't know if he's, confirmed with you directly because you were texting him. But other than that, Miss C is going to cover Patty's class.
Yes, he's good. Sorry, I was, yeah, he's good.
Okay, cool. So based on that, and then the arrangements that JR is going to make for the, those beginning business classes were confirmed with all the other instructors. Every class is covered. I don't really have anything else to share at this time. The next thing would be to just get the orientation presentation together and get that to Donna and Ellen as soon as possible. So that's all settled. And that's basically it. I think for me, the other thing I was going to add is, I know for our family, JR and I, we're also trying to get into a rhythm that works well when we're doing the S.O.A.R classes, because it is 8 weeks, and with the both of us, from 6:30 to 8, getting dinner and the kids, I think we're going to be more strategic this time. I think we both try to join, but I think just for balance, it has become complex in the sense that it's our Tuesday and Thursday time frame where conversations are limited with the kids because we're trying to listen in and stuff like that. So I think for us, we're going to kind of talk amongst ourselves about balancing it out. You know, we got the office hour, who's going to, you know, come to that. I, you know, my work schedule gets a little intricate sometimes, so we're just working out those few things. But right now we're in a good place, and like I said, we'll just work out those additional details so that way we have a better balance and flow for, you know, our particular household, and double teaming this right now with the boys. But that's it. Excited for the new series. I'm excited to meet the scholars. I agree with what Rosie has said earlier. You know, being with them in person makes such a huge difference. I think just because I went to the march, the community march that Rosie spoke at, like I've gotten to know Janaya in a way that I haven't really connected as much with the other scholars, because she's been so active with supporting our events. So, you know, getting a chance to talk to her at the Rock the Blah, you know, getting to see Malachi and his funny self, and Roberto and everyone. I'm sad I missed Kevion. I know he was there earlier, but it really is nice to see them in person and interact with them. And, you know, it's like, I don't know, I feel like auntie status when I see them, because, you know, they're like, hi, Miss Latoya, you know, it's just like, oh, it's so cute.
Right. Exactly.
So it's so sweet, and they're just I just like we struck gold with them, and just their heart, and they're just so cool. So yeah, I agree 100%. I think now with you know, the world being more open, and hopefully will stay open in Jesus' name, you know, we can continue to do stuff like that in person and have them there. So it's a huge blessing.
Yeah. Sounds good. Looks like things are coming together and starting to flourish at the same time.
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks, give or take, right before the next series. Who's joining? Who's number 8? Oh, it's Leon twice. We have 2 weeks to you know, to really push and promote, you know. So that's why I said, like, I'm trying to make these visits happen with these schools, right? Before I also have the college, um the college and career fair that they host at Abraham Clark that I'll be attending, but it's not until after the course already starts. There's another event I feel like I'm missing that I'll be going to. I can't recall right now, but anyway, so we're trying to ramp up registration. I'm actually going to have to kind of generate the initial email to go out tomorrow. That's on my to-do list, to send out the initial email, like an email blast to everyone. And then now that we had Ellen update the website to make sure that it, you know, it had all the registration information on it, because I didn't want to start putting out information and it's, you know, the kids are not there. But I do know we have a few prospects already. One being Kayla, who was who was there on Saturday, and she also participated at the college tour. So she's like, where can I sign? And she's not just for the programs, but just like anything we have going on. Like, she was literally legit 100%, you know, for SOAR. And she was just like, Miss Rosie, like, she had asked me earlier in the day, and I was like, yeah, you know, we'll definitely talk. Like, yes, don't leave without us talking or whatever. And right before she was leaving, she was like, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted, you know, to find out more about the program. Like, are you going to email me? Are you going to send me the email? Like, and she was persistent. Like, can you know, so when does the program start, and when will you send out the email, and are you going to send the registration information, because I'm definitely signing up. So we already know that we got one, and you know,
Very
we got
good.
one. And yeah. So, you know, I think it is just a matter of, like, you know, just putting that out, putting the word out, and then also pulling on our, you know, our existing scholars too, to get the word out. I know Janaya, you know, and they love, when I tell you, they love being considered a SOAR ambassador. They love it. Like, you know, we also have the brothers from the hospitality and travel program, Eric and Elijah. They are going to be participating in this series as well. Yeah, so we have some prospects already. It's just a matter of getting the information out there to them so they can register. And I'm gonna do that now because I don't want to wait till the last minute and then people's schedules get bogged down or whatever. So you'll see that go out, and then from there you guys can forward the emails to your respective networks and people who who might have kids or might be in the system who can forward the information on as well. Okay, thank you, Chas. I appreciate that. Now that Chastity's up in that DOE and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Yeah, so if you guys have networks, definitely reach out, push that out. Let's get the word out. Let's pack the house, the virtual house anyway.
Well, I'll definitely start connecting with my contacts at work. I had there was actually Ernest's sister is in 9th grade now, and I was trying to get her on for spring, or not spring, I'm sorry, the summer for the hospitality and travel, but she didn't want to commit for the summer. So I said, well, maybe we'll get her for the fall. So we're working on that as well.
T, we have to tell, I don't know if you mentioned it to Rosie already, that Olivia bought 4 teens to church yesterday. So I'm thinking we could definitely
nice. Okay.
yeah, grab them and market to them. And I'll share some other details of what was prophesied to her in the second service. But yeah, I think too, especially with Sister Adrian, they came with her, and so I think we could definitely market and really have her reach out because she's good with stuff like that too. So I'll follow up with her about that.
Oh, yeah, we got this.
That's awesome. Okay. Yes. I don't even think did she participate in the business and entrepreneurship or just the hospitality and travel?
I was just thinking about that. I think she only did hospitality and travel. So yeah, she should definitely join us.
If that's something she wants to do, I would definitely encourage it. And I can bring it up at our Bible study on Wednesday. A little plug-in, as you call it, Toya, the shameless plug. Yeah, so I'll definitely listen. We're gonna pull them at every angle. So, and also Miss C, so she's trying to work out some angles there in Florida, and she's supposed to be doing a presentation in October. I told her if I could come, and even bring Lanaya with me, like something, if it means getting prospects, and a larger view from, like visibility rather, on our programs, then I'm all for it. But she's pushing hard for sure. Like she's out there doing some major, some stuff. Her and, her partner, they're really huge advocates of S.O.A.R. So that's another angle, she's going to be pushing and promoting out there. Cece, she was like, Cece's been telling everybody. So, I'll make sure to put that in the chat too. Like, all right, guys, like we got the series coming up. Make sure y'all tell your friends, tell your peoples, let them know. Here's the registration. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll be able to, that word of mouth is the best form of advertisement. But even with them, with their peers and being able to show like, yo, I did this, and this is what happened as a result. I think it speaks greater volumes, so
Yeah. Well, I think we've reached our final topic. Did anyone have any last thoughts on anything for the boot camp? If not,
yes, I did. I put it in the chat. I was asking about the time. I know we had talked about, and we kind of floated around the idea, just because of the timing with the classes and just having everything so crunched, whether or not we were going to, I don't know if it was for just the hospitality and travel or if we were going to consider doing it for both series. But are we good with keeping it at 6:30 to 8 still, or did we want to consider extending the time by a half hour?
I kept the time the same. I know that I don't know if I remember discussions about changing the time. I know we had discussions last time about getting rid of the break. So I'm definitely open to you know, removing the break. I mean,
I don't think
if
getting rid of the
everyone's in
break.
agreement.
No, I don't think getting rid of the break. I think shortening it, like instead of it being 15, because some people were doing 15, like having a consistent time, like, okay, 5-minute break, guys, no more than 10. But I definitely think, giving a break kind of breaks up the monotony and just kind of gives everybody a breather, and, to include the instructors. Sorry, I'm getting a distress text. But yeah, I like the break. I just, maybe we can, bring just kind of be more specific. Okay, the 5 minutes is the 10 minutes, definitely not 15. And then I think we talked about it for the H&T. Is that right? Like Chas, Dre, I think that's what we talked about, right? And even
Extended it
consider
for
expanding
HET,
it.
yeah, for the cooking classes. Extended
Right.
it for that. That's where the conversation started, because that's where
Okay.
most of the where the issue was, where they're not just rushed through, the cooking portion.
Right.
Yeah, and definitely shortening the break. We do need to break up the monotony, but I think it should be shortened to maybe like 5 minutes, use bathroom, get up and walk and move. You've been sitting on your backside for, 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And the brain can only handle as much as the backside can, right? So I'm not for getting completely rid of the break, but I think a 5-minute water break, bathroom break, check my text message break. My parents asking me about my homework. I know in the H&T class, I had a couple parents in the background. Aren't you supposed to be doing this? Be like, hold on 1 second, to put it on mute. And like, they're in the middle of class, parents, but I get it. So just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think we were just, even with the current classes we've had, even, and Tiana can vouch for it, like even while we were in Jamaica, like the kids were like, Miss Rosie, I think we should, like, if when we do these classes again, we should make sure that they're longer. They're too short. Like, they were saying stuff like that. They talk about how the classes were short and how they wish they had more time, even in their testimonials and stuff, and on the videos or whatever, like they'll say that, like, the classes were just short, even in the surveys, right? I probably have seen that more than I haven't. I wish we had more time. I wish there was, I wish we didn't feel like we were rushed. This was a really great class. I wish this, I wish. So I just taking all that in, right? That's a whole part of this, reviewing and revisiting and finding areas where we can improve. And that could very well be, that extra half hour, if it's not impeding or imposing on the instructor's times. If you guys, if we can do it, I'm okay with it. But, to Toya's point about the balance, I'm usually the only one home. You know what I'm saying? Leon don't get home until like 8. So, y'all got one up on me because there's 2 of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I get it with the balance and stuff. Like, that's why I'm trying to do it now. You know what I mean? But I would be okay with it, just because it, for me, I'm like, I'm only teaching one class, so I can put myself on mute and do what I got to do. I know with you guys are, you kind of facilitate throughout. So I definitely think managing that better is going to help. But, I don't want to speak for anybody in terms of the time. I just wanted to put it out there to kind of gauge, your thoughts. Just because we did talk about doing that for the H&T. And if it's something that's been more consistently said in the classes, which they have been, and it's been verbally expressed with our, with the scholars, I think it's something we should definitely consider. Yes, the kids want more. Yeah. Yes, John. We'll put that in the in the verbiage of the grants when we submit the next one. Which, by the way, we're working currently on the Wawa grant again because we're in the next cycle of funding, and so we can. Ellen's working on that as well. So she's been pushing out some grants. I don't know if you guys seen some of them come through. Some of them we qualify for, some of them we don't. So it's just, she's pushing them though.
I think.
To go back to the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, hon. Go ahead. You can go first.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Going back to the time, I think, I think historically, thinking about the time frame, I think initially we cut the time because, every series we have different scholars. So when we first started out, it kind of seemed like it was, maybe because of previous activities planned or level of engagement that it was too much. And then last series, I want to say I don't recall too many instructors doing 15 minutes because we had told them 10 or 15, and a lot of times the instructors cut it down to 10. I know I did. And if I recall, I think, JR did the same thing. So we did cut down the time. I mean, if we do the 5 minutes, I guess it would have to be like a balance if we're extending it to the 2 hour and then, but then doing a 5-minute break. I guess I'm thinking about that from that perspective. And then the other thing I'm thinking is I feel like some classes require more time than others because now for this series, we're actually adding an additional class, right? So last series, we added office hours. So we had the extra hour, which was optional, but it was an extra hour. And then that last workshop for writing was mandatory. This year, we removed the writing workshop because we added an additional class. So I guess just thinking about balance across the board, I'm not sure if every single class needs to be made 2 hours or if we want to look at maybe when we got around, the advanced classes, maybe we just want to do it for the advanced because now we have, scholars that we know are fully vested and committed to the series that have come, whether they, came back from the fundamentals or they, signed up from the get-go to do both. So maybe we want to look at that. Maybe we want to look at some of those classes that historically needed more time. So maybe the business writing and the resume writing, possibly my last class before the presentations. So I guess it's like a balance of all of the things that we've implemented. I guess I'm looking at it full scope. So I guess I'm just wondering what the thoughts are about that. Do we want to just, maybe look at the advanced for 2 hours or maybe look at extending some of those classes that has historically felt like needed more time?
I like the idea of having the 2 hours for the advanced because the fundamentals, like you said, it's just kind of getting into the like the high level overview. Whereas in the advanced, there's greater expectation, and then there's we kind of do more of a deep dive into a lot of the topics, and it's advanced, so it's a step up from the fundamentals. And I want to be careful with flip flopping with the times in either or, you know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna do, if let's say we're gonna do 6:30 to 8 for the fundamentals, I think maybe we should keep all the classes that way because you don't want to confuse people. You know what I'm saying? And then we don't want to get confused. Like, okay, wait, is this the 2 hour class or is this the 1.5? Whereas when you're doing the fundamentals 1.5 hours, and then, now here we are, we're advanced. This is a 2 hour, session. It makes it much easier. You know what I'm saying? To be like, okay, I got it. It's 2 hours. It was an hour and a half. Now we're upping it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's
just my thought.
Yes, that's totally fine with me. Yeah, definitely on board with that. So I'll update the
No pun
outline.
intended.
Why?
Look at
I
that.
don't even know what I said. What did I
You
say?
said I'm definitely on board. I said no pun intended.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine. I'll update the outline, and then I'll also notify the instructors that we're going to extend the time, and then I'll update the breaks. Are we still thinking giving the instructors for, let's say, the advanced specifically, the 5 to 10 minute window for the 2 hours? Or are we thinking 5 minutes across both iterations?
I think 5 is good. And then we can always gauge during, you know what I'm saying? During each of the classes, like 5 is the standard, but then, all right, if we need more time, let's do that, because remember, we also give them time to do their breakouts and, you know what I'm saying? There's activity time for them and things like that. And there's not a lot of time, instructional time. Like we have that, and you got the engagement piece, and then you got the break, and then yeah, and then we don't always start at 6:30. Sometimes we're starting 6:35, 6:40 because we're waiting for people to come on. And so we have to be careful with that. We need to be a little bit more judicious even in that respect with starting on time. Whether they're there on time or not, we got to start on time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, my only thing with that, I know that when it comes to technology, I also am mindful of just being equitable in that, because I know that we are doing it virtually. And, it's just even at my, in my work, like it's something we're conscientious about, that because not everyone is, has access to the same technology. So I'm okay with I don't think we should go past a 5 minute grace time, but I'm okay if, just with that in mind, giving people at least 5 minutes to sign on. I don't know what the other thoughts of the board members are, but that's okay with me. But then, like you said, then it would just be like a balance of time, in terms of breaks and stuff like that, but if everybody's there, then yeah, I don't think we should, push back the time, but I'm okay with the, a little bit of grace period.
We could also update the communications to advise participants to sign on 5 minutes early just to confirm their Zoom is up to date and they're ready to go at the
I was
hour.
just gonna say that. Yes. I do. And I understand the grace period because I've done it in all the classes that I've, facilitated or taught, even, at Rutgers. We always have that grace period, and that's fine. I'm just saying, like, we gotta make sure that if we're gonna stick to that, then we don't extend that time, or, you know what I'm saying? We often have we have good hearts. And so sometimes we just want to wait a little bit longer and it ends up, cutting into our time that we can be instructing and getting those who are on time the information that they need, because it's not fair for them either. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to stick to 5 minutes or have them even join 5 minutes early, but either way, I'm okay with it. I was just throwing that out there. We also have to do finance, so I just want to throw that out there real quick. I was waiting. Just want to.
Never mind. Gonna throw in a little coming to America joke, but I'll leave that alone. Okay, so before we get into the finance,
No, I want to hear it, Tia. I don't want to hear it. What'd you say? No, I'm kidding. I motion to close. Yes, puppy.
Anyone second? Or can I second?
I second that.
Okay. Well, for recording purposes, we'll say Andre second to close the meeting. And friendly reminder, everyone, please don't forget your dues for each month. It was due the 15th, so. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.